To say Nell Bailey was a force of nature would be an understatement. At just a little over 5 feet, I clearly remember the first time that I met her. She was a ball of energy, of personality, of laughter, and joy. It didn't matter what she did, whether it was helping a student, raising money for the church, singing in the church choir, playing tennis, golfing, whatever it was, she gave it her all. I remember my father-in-law, her brother, telling stories about Nell and how other girls wanted pretty dresses and other girls wanted girly things in the 1950s when they were growing up, 50s, and that Nell wanted a basketball, and she would stay outside and just shoot hoops all day long. Nell was perseverant in everything she did. And if she made up her mind that something was not a good fit for her or that she didn't agree with it, she would put her entire mind, body, and spirit to changing it.
At the peak of her professional career in 1984, she was hired at Marshall University as the first woman to be appointed as a vice president at the university, and her role was to oversee the student affairs department. Marshall had never had a better cheerleader, whether in the classrooms or in the boardrooms or in the state legislature. And of course, at the Cam Henderson Center, which was the basketball arena where she loved to go to basketball games, and the football stadium where she loved to cheer on the football team. In spite of her title as vice president, Nell never was an ivory tower leader. She always remained in direct contact with students as an advisor to student organizations and to student government, and she taught several courses in the graduate school during her tenure there.
I remember Nell really breaking glass ceilings and the stories of her becoming the first woman vice president at Marshall University. And like I said, she was not a big person. She barely stood over 5 foot tall, but she would walk those hallways, and she would walk those sidewalks, and she would walk those brick streets with these 3-inch heels, and the clickety clackety of her I remember so distinctly. And I remember her one time having a disagreement with another vice president as he tried to take over her department, and how she did not hesitate to drop some colorful language and play hardball like the boys club played hardball, because she was not going to let anyone ever step on her students, her authority, or her rights. She raised money for charities hand over foot, and she'd often be asked by people, you have lots of money at your disposal. Why aren't you going to Haiti? Why aren't you going on mission trips to Mexico? Why aren't you going here or there? And she would look them in the eye. And at the time, she lived in Huntington, West Virginia, and she would say, my mission is in West Huntington. My mission is in this town. Because she never forgot that where she lived, her own backyard, was where she needed to put her efforts first. I know that when she was diagnosed with cancer, she was scared. This was a huge thing for her. She wanted to be brave. She wanted to be courageous. She wanted to march in the face of adversity and be a breast cancer survivor. No fear. But she had a lot of it. And she was very grateful for the care of the medical staff that helped with her treatments. She was very thankful that she lived in a place where she could keep working and she could do her treatments. And she was very supportive of others around her. She continued to raise money for breast cancer, and do the things that she needed to support, especially low income and women to get mammograms. And she supported the hospital, Cabell Huntington Hospital, a great deal in their fundraisers because of the level of care that she received there. And she advocated for better women's health care across the state. And she advocated for children's health care across the state. And she worked tirelessly after her retirement as an educator with the governor at the time. When she died, we went into her office, and her wall was filled with plaques of appreciation with awards that she had won, certificates and gifts from former students and appreciative families. She didn't keep those for her own ego. She kept them because they were precious moments with precious people who she didn't want to forget. She never cut ties. She always nurtured them.